I haven't seen one in a while, but I mean, we'd be talking about severes like this big. Like literally severe thunderstorm warnings like this big. And I haven't seen something like that in a while from Canada. Across the eastern Texas panhandle into western Oklahoma this evening. This activity should gradually expand throughout the late evening and into the overnight hours. Large hail is expected to be the primary risk with these storms. Otherwise, some severe risk remains possible with prefrontal convection that evolves overnight downstream across the Mississippi Valley and into western Indiana. So it all depends on prefrontal convection firing. And if we don't see prefrontal convection, then you're not going to get much weather at all up there into Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, or anywhere up here. You can see there is some storms starting to fire up, but they are definitely not anywhere close to severe. So I wouldn't rule out a supercellar 2 firing down here in Oklahoma over the next 3 hours that could potentially produce a tornado. And I wouldn't rule out a isolated prefrontal forming closer to midnight tonight. Maybe even after that out here in Missouri up towards western Indiana. And that could produce a quick spin up tornado, but likely will remain mainly a hail threat. So just a big time hail threat today. And it could have been much bigger. I mean, now we're looking at probably 2.5 to up to 3 inch in diameter hail. But if those prefrontals fired towards 6 o'clock and they were ongoing all the way till now and even later tonight, we could have seen like 4.5 inch hail out of them. Today does not have an enhanced risk, but Sunday's risk does. This is Sunday's enhanced risk for severe weather. And it's a pretty good sized enhanced risk, but it is decently low population. There's about 800,000 people in that enhanced risk, which for its size, I've seen a lot more populated risks with even smaller enhances than that. But I do think that enhanced risk will be expanded more south, maybe into the St. Louis metro and maybe as far south as Springfield. There's still some uncertainties on exactly what may unfold on Sunday, but it's currently uptrending to be a big-time tornado threat. For Sunday. And then tomorrow, so this is for Saturday, which is tomorrow, it looks like we are going to see the chance for a couple strong tornadoes likely to the northwest of Fort Worth, somewhere in this area. If we go ahead and look at our newest HRRR, which we're getting a newer one that's going to stretch out into the hours of tomorrow's severe threat, but our latest one, you can see it develop some potentially tornadic thunderstorms towards 5, 6 o'clock out here northwest of Fort Worth. And then another round of supercells towards 11 p.m. over much of the same area. And then one last round of likely damaging winds and brief spin-up tornadoes towards kind of 2 a.m. or so. So I do believe we will see a 10 significant tornado risk introduced somewhere out here. Wherever confidence is highest in those supercells firing. And if we go to the environment, you can see these storms, they are going to be in a pretty good environment for tornadoes for tomorrow. And then you can see that that's your QLCS spin-up tornado threat right there. In this very wavy cold front and in line that fires tomorrow. And then look at Sunday's risk. The HRRR has a broad area of favorable environment out here. From northwestern Arkansas into southwestern Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma. And we are going to get a new model run that will show us that even better. But unfortunately, it does seem like this is going to be a good threat for all hazards on Sunday. Especially as we get closer to this threat, I think we're going to see a big uptrend. But over the last 24 hours... The NAM model is definitely uptrended. It now shows a full-fledged line of supercells from northeastern Kansas, southeastern Nebraska, all the way back down into the Texarkana area. So the NAM3K definitely shows a very potent scenario with potentially multiple strong tornadoes being possible across much of this area here. Much of this region. And notice how far west that is. Our enhanced risk from the SPC. Let me see if I can... I'll pull that up right now. So that's the enhanced risk from the SPC. But the NAM3K says the greatest tornado threat will be right in, like, this area. Generally in that area. Which is well off to the west-southwest of where the main enhanced risk for severe weather is from the SPC. So there's a bit of a timing issue that is currently being worked out between the model runs. And I think the SPC noted this in their discussion. Let's see. I know they did in their other discussion from earlier this morning. But I don't see it right now. But they did note earlier that other model guidance was suggesting a slower front and thus a more west shift in severe weather. Still a little bit of prefrontals firing here in northeastern Oklahoma. We'll just have to keep an eye on them. They are barely in the front. They're really like right on the front. So these should stay relatively messy until they get into far northeastern Oklahoma in about an hour or so. And then those could potentially develop into some stronger storms. Let's see here. All right, new HRRR is coming in. Not really going to pay close attention to that for today, but mainly going to look at the HRRR for tomorrow's threat and going on into Sunday's threat as well. See if the SPC issues any mesoscale discussion for this threat of a prefrontal or two firing here in Oklahoma right now. Right now, there's no mesoscale discussion out. Let's see here. Okay. So, main threat today is damaging winds and large hail, specifically into the overnight hours. So we probably won't end up covering it. It doesn't look like a threat worth staying up for. I don't have a lot of confidence in very organized prefrontals firing here. But if they do get going, we could definitely end up with a few tornadoes out of any prefrontals that may fire here. But they're going to have to be in the right spot, like what we saw yesterday. They're going to have to be right at that boundary. Which, because it's overnight, you can see that boundary is weaker and also more to the southeast. And that boundary really should move, yeah, to the southeast. So I don't see there being a big chance for tornadoes tonight. I doubt we'll actually get any storms to latch on to the boundary there. So we're gonna wait to see what the HRRR has for tonight. I don't think I'm going to be alive for the entire HRRR run. We'll see. Let's see. Does the HRRR keep those storms? Yeah, the newest HRRR even keeps those prefrontals north of the boundary. But you can see here, this is the HRRR for tonight at 11 o'clock. And you can see it does show the threat for mainly hail, but still maybe a few tornadoes being possible with those prefrontals. And they are like right on the boundary. It's hard to tell if they would be able to become tornadic or not. But that's what we're going to have to watch for tonight towards 11 o'clock midnight Eastern time. I will be up at midnight. So there is a small chance, if it looks really rough, that we do urgent coverage tonight. Right now, this stream's more of a mixture of both.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead
More
and
of
end
coverage
it here.
and a briefing at the same time.
Started my stream a little too early without really checking much. I'm gonna go back and make sure that things are gonna go as they were supposed to be. And then I'll be back, and if things are gonna ramp up.
Central Arkansas
So,
for tonight, I don't think
if
you'll
things
see
ramp
much.
up, you more than likely will see me and Ryan.
I think you'll be relatively in the clear for tonight.
I'll see you guys later. Take care.
And then tomorrow, I don't think you'll see much either. We do have to watch out towards tomorrow night, though. tomorrow night we could have a tornado threat in and northwest of Little Rock, Arkansas. But it looks like the best threat for tornadoes in Arkansas is going to be on Sunday. And it depends on when these storms fire and how slow / how fast our front moves. If our front is fast, then Arkansas, central Arkansas is going to be in the primary risk.